All right, guys, this is the important one. Sticking to your plan. Okay, now I know that many people are kind of hearing this saying, you know, you've got to be a robot when you're trading. You've got to not break your rules. You've got to all be so rigid and stick to your plan. The best traders never deviate. Listen, I think the best thing to do is to just accept you'll break some rules. It's human, right? And this gives you a really big advantage, guys. Now, this is really an important point. Very often when we break rules, we often think, I've broken a rule, I may as well carry on breaking them. Just look across society, look at diets, look at smoking, look at health, look at fitness, look at anything, look at addiction. A diet's a great example. Look at someone who says, you know what, I'm not going to eat chocolate from Monday to Friday, whatever it may be, right? And so Tuesday night, they kind of get home and think, oh, I'm just going to have a chocolate bar. And they break the rule, they have a chocolate bar. Now that alone isn't the end of the world, right? But generally speaking, people go, oh, I've broken the rule now. You know, I'll have a few more chocolate bars. I'll start from scratch again tomorrow. That's the worst thing you can do. Like in trading, you know, if you break a rule, it doesn't mean you have to start again. It means just grab a hold of yourself and go, you know what, I've broken a rule. Our discipline's not been on point with this for whatever reason. Note it down. Oh, the plan is useless because you're going off piste. You can't tell whether that actually was part of the plan or not. So important thing is you note it down. You note down and you say, hey, I broke the rule here. This is what happened. It wasn't great, but this specific bit doesn't really relate to the plan. It's nothing to do with the plan. So you must note it down or the plan is useless. And number 3, guys, is just going back to that point, is occasional rule breaks are okay as long as we note them down, because like I said, we're getting data for improvement. Big rule breaks are not. We don't want to be breaking rules massively, because if we're breaking rules and we're having big rule breaks, what's causing the big rule break? In other words, you know, are we kind of looking at that analogy, are we eating loads and loads of chocolate when we eat one? What's causing us to have that first rule break? And you know, you can still catch yourself if you break the rule. It's human nature, guys. You know, look at funds across the world. You know, sometimes they do things they shouldn't do. They hold on to things for too long, part of the plan or whatever it may be. But they catch it. They go, you know what, I broke my rules on that one. I kind of got emotional with that position. I held it too much. I went public with it, whatever it may be. And they catch themselves and they sort it out. So accept you're going to break the rules. Accept you're human. Okay, but try and keep it to a minimum and make sure you note it down, and just note if you break the rules from a big perspective. And you know, I'm such an advocate for this as well, and I've talked about this before. Set goals based on the plan rules, not money rules. So in other words, it's about sticking to the plan for X number of days. It's not about making X amount of money. We are about sticking to what we said we're going to for a specific amount of time before we kind of move on. You know, we don't want to be thinking, hey, I want to make X amount of money. I want to do this, I want to do that. It's not about that. It's about rules and focused and sticking to what we said we were going to do. All right, guys, that's a trading plan. Now, creating the process, we've got the 8-part process. We talked about current commitments and status. So in other words, what we're doing at the moment, family time, work time, financial situation. We talked about the time frame we want to trade. We talked about the markets. We talked about strategy, boundaries, risk management, duration, how long we're going to trade the plan until we iterate, and then iteration is the final thing. 8 parts to the process. So you can now go away and you can run through all that and you can make your trading plan. And like I say, it doesn't have to be massive. It doesn't have to be war and peace. It can be the smallest plan that just sets you going. Hey, I'm going to trade Euro US dollar, day trading on this time of day with this kind of strategy, with this risk management. Done. Add some boundaries in, you're good to go. And you can also just start off with a smaller time period. You might say, you know what, I traded for 2 weeks and then add boundaries in if you're brand new. It doesn't matter. You know, I just would suggest that you start out with a plan you get going, because it really is the biggest thing that you can do that costs nothing apart from time, that will move you forward massively. It keeps you on track, it keeps you focused. And the big thing that people forget about, which I kind of talked about and probably repeated myself far too much, is that you get data that you can iterate from. This is way better than back testing, because it contains everything about how you integrate with the market, logistics, all the kind of stuff that's really useful. And that's so important, so you can improve and you can iterate. And just think, if you have this plan and you do it again, and then you iterate again and again and again, let's say you've got a 30-day cycle for the plan, think where you'll be in 300 days. 10 iterations, 10 improvements, stuff coming out, stuff coming in. You'll be far, far ahead. Your learning curve will be here, or you'll be here on your learning curve, as opposed to here than if you didn't have a plan. So I really do recommend, guys, that you go out and do a trading plan. And like all my videos, you might not agree with everything I've said, but hopefully you've taken a few nuggets, whatever they are, whatever the part of this multi-video kind of series, and you've gone, you know what, that makes sense. That doesn't make sense, I'm not interested in that. That makes sense. And if that's the case, that's great. And let me know in the comment section below how you get on. Let me know if you've got any questions. We'll probably do a Q&A if we get enough kind of questions. Maybe we'll do a follow-up to this and do a Q&A and see what's going on and get your questions like that. But this is really a really good foundation to have. Thoroughly recommend it. Go out there, create your trading plan, create that structure, and really get the traction you want in the markets. Whatever you're doing, take care, keep your risk managed. Bye-bye.